What was expected to be a resilient comeback performance from the Memphis Grizzlies after their humiliating Game 1 showing turned into an absolute disaster, as they were clinically picked apart and utterly dominated by an Oklahoma City Thunder squad that looked every bit like a championship-caliber team on a mission to prove a point and bury their opponent with no mercy in sight. From the moment the ball was tipped, it became glaringly obvious that OKC didn't just come to win, they came to crush, to dismantle, to make a statement, and that statement echoed loud and clear across every inch of the court. This is our time, and we're not here to play games. Memphis, looking for redemption, instead opened the game looking lost, unfocused, and completely disconnected, while the Thunder exploded out of the gate with ferocity, intensity, and precision that left fans in awe and the Grizzlies completely stunned, their heads spinning as OKC executed flawlessly on both ends. All eyes were on Ja Morant, the young star who's long been the face of this Memphis team, but instead of rising to the occasion, he faltered under the weight of expectations, opening the first quarter with a dismal 0-4-6 shooting performance that set the tone for what would become a night to forget for both him and his squad. Even though he managed to scratch the scoreboard from the free throw line later on, it was painfully evident that this was not the confident, high-flying, relentless Morant fans are used to seeing. This was a shell of that player, one who looked hesitant, passive, and completely out of rhythm. Meanwhile, on the other side, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was masterfully orchestrating the offense like a seasoned maestro conducting a symphony, breaking down the Grizzlies' defense with a combination of slick dribble drives, perfectly timed kickouts, and effortless mid-range jumpers that left defenders in his wake. SGA's poise, balance, and ability to control the tempo while also being a defensive anchor made it clear that he wasn't just playing well, he was commanding the game on both ends like a true leader and superstar, showcasing why he's rapidly becoming one of the most complete players in the NBA today. Chet Holmgren, the much-hyped rookie with sky-high expectations, looked nothing like a first-year player under the bright lights, instead delivering a performance that screamed future all-star, as he blocked shots with surgical timing, altered every drive in the paint, secured crucial rebounds, and hit shots with a smoothness that belied his youth. Every time Memphis thought about attacking the rim, they had to think twice, because Holmgren was there, lurking like a sentry with a wingspan that swallowed up space and momentum, leaving the Grizzlies second-guessing every move. But it wasn't just individual performances that told the story. This was a Thunder team playing with unity, chemistry, and purpose, feeding off each other's energy and the deafening roars of a home crowd that could sense something special unfolding right before their eyes. When Lou Dort drilled back-to-back threes early in the first quarter, the arena didn't just erupt, it detonated, setting the tone for a relentless offensive assault that would never let up, with Jalen Williams slashing into the paint, finishing through contact, and turning every possession into a highlight reel audition. On the other end, the Grizzlies looked completely unprepared, as if they hadn't watched a single clip of film between games. Jaren Jackson Jr., expected to be a two-way force, was completely neutralized, while Desmond Bane, normally a reliable secondary scorer, was forcing shots, rushing possessions, and clearly frustrated. Scottie Pippen Jr., thrown into the fire, tried to shoulder some of the load, but his attempts to go one-on-one against OKC's elite perimeter defenders only resulted in turnovers, missed opportunities, and fast break chances that the Thunder gleefully turned into easy points. By the end of the first quarter, the numbers said it all: 4 of 22 from the field for Memphis, a paltry 13 points on the board, and a team that looked less like a playoff contender and more like a squad still searching for an identity. Turnovers piled up like wreckage at a crash site, the result of sloppy passing, bad reads, and a complete lack of communication, giving OKC all the ammunition they needed to go on a devastating 17-4 run that felt more like a knockout punch than just another surge. When Memphis attempted to push the pace, which had been their bread and butter all season long, it backfired spectacularly. Transition chances ended in wild layups, out-of-control drives, and hurried three-point attempts that clanked off the rim and led to even more transition points for the Thunder. Even when Ja finally managed to get going, he was met with swarming double teams, aggressive hedges on screens, and defenders constantly rotating to force the ball out of his hands, daring someone else to beat them. And when nobody stepped up, it became clear that Memphis had no counterpunch. By halftime, the disparity wasn't just in the score, it was in body language, effort, and composure. The Thunder looked like a team on the rise, confident and cohesive, while the Grizzlies dragged themselves to the locker room like a group that knew deep down they were being outclassed in every way. And the coaching? Virtually non-existent in terms of meaningful adjustments. Despite seeing the game slipping away, there were no creative rotations, no tactical tweaks, no spark. Marvin Bagley, who gave them positive minutes in Game 1, sat glued to the bench as Memphis crumbled without any real attempt to stop the bleeding. The emotional contrast was jarring. On one bench, animated discussions, high fives, and energy. On the other, slumped shoulders, dead-eyed stares, and visible tension. It was like watching a group implode in slow motion, with nothing to stop the collapse. This brings us to the bigger question. Was the Game 1 blowout a fluke, or are the Thunder just that much better, more prepared, more talented, and more unified in their mission? Social media isn't waiting to find out. Hashtags like #BenchJa, #MemphisMeltdown, and #Scamp are already circulating as fans and pundits alike begin to wonder if this version of Ja Morant, once hailed as a generational talent, is losing his grip on the team and the narrative surrounding his legacy. There was a time when Ja was seen as the next face of the league, a human highlight reel with the fire to lead Memphis to glory, but in this series, against this version of the Thunder, he looks overwhelmed, outplayed, and perhaps even out of answers, and that reality is starting to feel uncomfortably permanent. As for the Thunder, they don't just look good, they look scary good. This is a team full of rising stars, buying into the system, communicating on every possession, and playing defense like their lives depend on it. Their rotations are crisp, their ball movement is stunning, and their confidence is sky high. Watching OKC feels like witnessing the birth of a new dynasty, the kind of team that doesn't just win, but wins with flair, swagger, and unshakable belief in each other, the kind that makes opponents question their own identity. And what's terrifying is they're still getting better. So as we look ahead to Game 3, one thing is crystal clear. The spotlight is now blindingly hot on Memphis and especially on Ja Morant, whose next performance could either spark a revival or cement a narrative of collapse. Can he rise above the criticism, rally his teammates, and steal back momentum? Or is this series already slipping away, leaving Memphis with more questions than answers and a superstar whose crown is suddenly looking a lot heavier? We want to hear what you think. Has Ja lost his edge? Can the Grizzlies recover? Or is OKC simply unstoppable at this point? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you believe the Thunder are about to make a serious playoff run, and subscribe for more no-filter, high-drama NBA content. This series might already be over, but the story is just getting started.